Hey folks, Lemonade here, and today we finally got the Lamzu Atlantis in the office. We got a little over a week of testing. I wanted to get it in a special colorway just because, I got a lot of white mice on my desk. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. Let's get into this beauty right after this. Okay, folks, so we're going to knock out the specs like we usually do, starting with the sensor. So it's got a 3395 sensor in it. It's rated for 70 hours of battery life, 1000 hertz polling rate, weighs 55 grams. Dimensions are 123 millimeters by 66 millimeters wide at the rear. Grip width is 56 millimeters, and the overall height is 38 millimeters, and it's a backside style hump. Comes in white, black, Miami color, masculine pink, and a matcha green, selling for $89.99 USD. Now, inside the box, you get a couple different things. Extra set of PTFE feet, the carrying bag, and grip tape, which, as you can already see, I've installed. I just didn't do the side buttons. I never like putting the side buttons grip tape on, just a little wonky for me. The grip tape is a super nice touch to see in the box. That's not normal for most companies, and it's actually pretty high quality, but I did wish that they color match this better. This is more of a green teal versus the baby blue on the Miami color. Small little nitpick, I did notify of that, and we'll see if they kind of change that down the road. Now, the cable itself, it is also color matched. This is a super nice touch. It's a bit stiff. I still prefer the Glorious Ascend cable for overall use if you had to use it in game, but nice cable. Super nice touch of angling the USB-C adapter upwards, so this reduces any possible cable drag. That's a really, really cool touch. I hope all manufacturers do this going forward. The adapter is metal with the Lamzu logo, and the dongle itself has the Atlantis branding on it. Build quality feels quite good, actually. The weight is perfectly balanced, no body flex or creaking at all, but I did have a few QC issues that may be worth keeping an eye on. To start, there has been some reports of button side-to-side play, especially on the left mouse button. You can kind of see that a little bit there. There is a bit more on my copy. The right mouse button seems to be, there's still a little bit, but it's a lot less on their right click. The sensor ring, the PTFE ring, is off-centered. You can actually see it there. Not a huge thing. It doesn't really affect anything in-game. It's just kind of a sloppy placement of it. The big thing for me, though, is I did notice a bulge on the PTF foot on the bottom, right in the smack dab center. And I was wondering, because you can actually, probably can recreate it on a camera, there's a little bit of, see, side-to-side flex of the mouse. And I was wondering, why is that happening? Well, when I looked at it level with my desk and put a light under it and everything kind of zoomed in with my phone camera, I did see that the PTFE feet aren't really making good contact on the sides, and there was a bit of a bulge there. So, and the only thing I can think of, it's probably going to be hard to see, but this brass mechanism down here, it is kind of attached to the base. There's a post right there next to my fingernail, and there's a screw in there. So the only thing I think of is maybe when they screwed the kind of the brass piece to the bottom of the base here, maybe they tensioned it too much, and it kind of just sticks out enough that it's raising it. Now, we're talking maybe a millimeter, probably not even a millimeter, but it's just enough to cause a little bit of inconsistency and kind of side-to-side play on the mouse. Again, not great to see on a mouse, but it's things to keep an eye out for. I've seen a lot of other reviews and comments from people on Reddit. They seem to be loving their copies. There's a few people with QC issues, so I just like to report that stuff. This is what I got. I only get one shot as a reviewer, so your mileage may vary when you get your copy. Now, quick close-up on the mouse. As you can see here, USB-C charging, side buttons, nice color matched. Skate design, the small 2 PTF feet design. We'll get into that more later. There's an on-off switch right there. Like to see that. It just flicks left or right. Much better than Razer's implementation on the Viper. There is a DPI button right here. You can click on that. and it will change depending on how many stages you have. And then there is one more LED indicator right here that will change color depending on the battery status of your mouse. Now, the sensor again uses the current top end sensor, which is that 3395, like on the new Pulsar X2 and X2 Mini and my PureTrack Valor. Still technically a step down on paper from what Razer offers on the V2 Pro and the Dave, but it's still an impressive sensor, so don't feel slighted. It is the current top end. All right, so switches on here. We have Huano Blue Shell Pink Dot. They're rated for 80 million clicks. Most enthusiasts will say that they're the gold standard, and I have to agree. They're incredibly spammable, crispy, yet quieter than anything I have on my desk. Overall, they're just greatly tensioned and virtually no pre or post treble. That includes the side ones as well. The scroll wheel uses the TTC Gold encoder. It's smooth, has nice definition of the steps. It's not loud or obnoxious sounding. Overall clicks and feel of all the buttons on the mouse are top notch. There's really no area for improvement at all. Now, I didn't mention the skates earlier, so they're 100% full PTFE, and they are some of the best stock skates I've ever used. They definitely match the performance of my Viper stock skates. I think they're a kind of a adaptation of Tiger Arc skates is my understanding. So I would literally not swap these out. You don't have to worry about them until you need to replace them, maybe 6 months to a year down the road with that extra set in the box. Just heads up, there's currently no third-party skates that I'm aware of for this mouse. Coating is a stock OEM plastic, so it will be slippery if you have sweater hands like myself, or maybe you live in a humid environment, or your grip is just lighter in style. That said, the included grip tape again is super fantastic, so pretty much matches the quality of my BTL grips on the Viper. In terms of comparison of shape, there's nothing quite like this in my collection that I compare to, but I'm going to compare it to my current main, which is the Viper V2 Pro, and the Valor, which is my GPX Logitech G Pro Superlight clone. Now, it isn't bigger on paper, but it does feel more noticeable because it fills in your inner palm a bit more due to the back hump and the wide kind of rear side right here, where it goes up to 66 millimeters in comparison to the G Pro and the Viper. They're just a little bit more narrow feeling in the back, so that is something to note. Now, my hand size is a 19.5 by 10 centimeters for reference, so this is definitely a claw mouse first, but it can work in fingertip depending on your hand size, finger length in general. Palm could work, but honestly, just doesn't feel as comfortable as something like a GPX. I do want to add, though, that they are releasing a mini version of this supposedly before the end of the year, possibly in November, so that may be worth holding off for if you prefer smaller mice in general or have a specific grip style. In-game performance was mixed though, so it definitely took the longest to get used to for me personally compared to all the other mice I have. The first few days I just kind of felt inconsistent. Don't get me wrong, I've had great plays on this, but every time I went back to the Viper, it just kind of felt like home. Now, that could just be due to some of the QC issues I listed earlier throwing me off a bit, or the overall shape being unique in my collection, but I've definitely warmed up to it. More so after a good solid week or close to 10 days of use now, but I'm not sure it's going to fully replace my Viper just yet. All right, folks, let's show you the software, their website, the pricing, and then we'll close off. Okay, so this is a Lamzu software, super simple kind of OEM stock software, but I like this stuff. It's lightweight, it's non-obtrusive, it gets you all the stuff that you need, several profiles, disabling buttons, changing them, setting the debounce time to as low as you want, down to 0. Battery life, you can set it down to 1 DPI stage, and you can set to 1 or 2 millimeter liftoff distance, quick access to your Windows mouse control settings, and then macros, of course. So super nice. This is Lamzu's main website. I would recommend going here when you get the mouse. If you decide to purchase it, you have to download the drivers so you can set debounce and liftoff distance, all that software suite I was just showing you here, but there's also a firmware upgrade right here. I did not download the pairing tool. I don't think you need to, but I would definitely recommend downloading these two. Now, availability of this is pretty much non-existent. This is a really, really, really popular mouse. I got it from Addis. I have a link in the description if you want to purchase from there that supports the channel. That'd be awesome. If you're in the US, I think they do ship internationally as well. But again, all out of stock in Europe. With Max Gaming, all out of stock currently. So keep an eye out. They are going to refresh all the colors in due time. And again, that mini mouse is coming. So just something to consider as you're waiting for one of the colors to be available anyway. Overall, this is a great mouse for Lamzu's first attempt. They did pretty much everything right, from the internals they chose, weight, color options, all the extras in the box, and that great $89 price point, it's hard not to give them a full recommendation. Again, I had some QC issues, keep an eye out for those, but besides that, hype is real on this one, folks. It's a phenomenal mouse. And on that note, all my socials are down below, along with the affiliate link to Addis to purchase this mouse. If you had a good time with me today, likes and subs are always appreciated. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. But until the next Fresh Squeeze video, stay thirsty, folks.